government and partners unveiled a $58 million grant to support the country's education sector. South Sudan calls for fair access to development finance at the international conference in Spain. And Governor Bolwerk sets foot in the state to implement the 6-month state of emergency. Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to SSBC. I am Matiang Joseph. President Salva Kiir has returned from a diplomatic visit to the United Arab Emirates aimed at strengthening bilateral cooperation and exploring avenues for economic cooperation between the two countries. The Vice President for Economic Cluster, Dr. Benjamin Bolmel, welcomed the head of the state at Juba International Airport on Wednesday. Now let's go to Seville, Spain, where the South Sudan delegation has called for fair and increased access to development finance, debt relief, and greater inclusion of vulnerable countries in global decision-making processes on economic governance. South Sudan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Cecilia Adud Manyok, represented President Salva Kiir at the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development happens after every 10 years.
And welcome to everyone to this 4th International...
The International Conference on Financing for Development is an official United Nations-led event that brings together governments, financial institutions, development agencies, and civil society organizations to discuss strategies for mobilizing and managing financial resources to support sustainable development. This year's discussions are focusing on key areas including debt sustainability and management, domestic resource mobilization, private sector engagement, climate finance and green investment, and reform of the international financial architecture to better serve developing countries. At the opening of the Spain hosted event, attended by 23 heads of state, government representatives, the United Nations Secretary General, the African Union, and global finance leaders. South Sudan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Cecilia Adud Manyok, stresses the urgent need for tailored financing solutions that reflect the realities of post-conflict countries like South Sudan. Adud highlighted South Sudan's priority in strengthening domestic agriculture following the recent distribution of farming tractors and equipment to the states aimed at boosting the country's food productivity.
I'm here on behalf of His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit. Of course, challenges persist, and the UN Convention on Tax Cooperation is a welcome step in leveraging the global tax playing field. Number 2, public debt and access to consensual finance. South Sudan has maintained a cautious approach to external borrowing in the light of debt sustainability and concerns. However, consensual finances and grants remain essential to closing our infrastructure and human capital gaps.
Ambassador Adud also called for a stronger global collaboration to helping countries better identify and implement their development priorities.
Mr. President, Financing for development is not just about increasing the volume. It's about ensuring the right type of financing at the right time for the right priorities. South Sudan stands ready to work with the international partners to build resilience, inclusivity, sustainable economic system that leaves no country behind. We urge this conference to go beyond affirmation and deliver a renewed global financial compact rooted in equality, flexibility, and mutual accountability.
The conference focuses on advancing sustainable and inclusive financing strategies essential for accelerating the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. South Sudan uses the platform to spotlight its humanitarian and climate-related challenges, reaffirming its commitment to multilateral cooperation and global solidarity in pursuit of lasting peace, prosperity, and development. Reporting for SSBC News, Mathiang Joseph. Now, turning attention to the country's education sector. One of the country's key development partners, the Global Partnership for Education, has unveiled a $58 million grant to support government-led 4-year project aimed at transforming basic education in the country. The project focuses on the recruitment of professional teachers and the enrollment of 2.8 million out of school children. SSBC's Ayul Ringarup reports.
On Wednesday, the government and its partners launched a 2-day program to validate the implementation process of the $58 million education partnership with the Global Partnership for Education. The initiative aimed to enhance access to inclusive, quality education, especially for girls and marginalized communities across the country. With the start of this landmark project, UNICEF and Save the Children will serve as the joint lead implementers under the government supervision, ensuring that the program reached all intended beneficiaries, especially children most in need. Vice President and Chair for Service Delivery Cluster, Josephine Joseph Lago, reaffirmed government commitment to increasing budgetary allocated for the education sector.
However, as the Vice President for Service Cluster, and in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and Planning, I will continue to strive towards ensuring the full execution of allocated budget to the education sector. And it's not just going to be allocation of budget on paper. No, it won't. We will ensure that this allocation is translated and it reaches the school where it is needed. And to the children who are the final beneficiaries.
The Minister of General Education and Instruction, Kuyok Abul Kuyok, said the funding from GPE could provide life-saving educational opportunities for hundreds of thousands of crisis-affected girls and boys throughout the country.
Thus, this project offers a strategic opportunity to align and consolidate our collective efforts towards the effective realization of the President's order on free and compulsory education. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the program's pillars are aligned with our national priorities as outlined in General Education Sector Plan 2023-2028. 1. Promoting effective, inclusive, and gender-responsive teaching practices and curriculum implementation in pre-primary and primary schools.
The Global Partnership on Education representative, Motan Siga, called on the project milestone in providing educational access for the 2.8 million out-of-school children across South Sudan.
I think there are still more than, or at least 2.8 million children in South Sudan who are not attending school. Whatever the actual number may be, it's unacceptable that any child cannot access free, good quality, complete education.
The country director for Save the Children stresses the importance of collective effort to to break down the persistent barriers that prevent many children, especially in rural and conflict-affected areas, from attending school.
Today, we are not just launching a program, we are launching hope. In every language, a child will learn, in every name they will write, in every future they will begin to shape. This is $58 million from the Global Partnership for Education, made possible through the support of our board donors who time and again continue to show solidarity.
The event brought together senior government officials, development partners, representatives from civil societies, teachers and education experts to assess the progress and long-term impact of the Global Partnership for Education initiative in the country. Reporting for SSBC News, Aluering Arop.
And related development, the government continues to appreciate development partners for their continued support to the country's education sector, especially areas of infrastructure and teachers' capacity building program in the country. Here is a report.
To support the inclusive education program and stimulate the education system in the country. The function on Wednesday brings together the Vice President and Chair of Service Cluster, Josephine Joseph Lagu, and representatives from stakeholders and development partners. Speaking at the launch program, the Deputy Minister of General Education and Instruction, Martin Takumoi, says it is imperative to fund the education sector for realizing better and quality educational outcomes in the country.
So, Your Excellency, your leadership of Service Cluster, indeed a good luck for us in the Ministry of Education, who can push, especially Your Excellency, our budget for education. Our partners, Your Excellency, did a lot. The major role is actually of the government of this country to give the education sufficient funding for running education.
The Deputy Chairperson of the Standing Specialized Committee of Education in the Transitional National Legislative Assembly, Joyce Icha, sounds positive notes about reforms in the education sector through the Global Partnership for Education program.
It is the hope of the Parliament and especially of the Committee on General Education that this initiative transform the education system in the country and bring about positive change not only to the learners but also to the country as a whole. Secondly, as an oversight committee, we are pleased to associate and work with you, the GPE, and other education partners in ensuring that this program is a success.
Central Equatoria State Minister of Education, Sirisio Zakaria Lado, describes education as an important sector contributing effectively in the nation building.
التعليم هو واحدة من العناصر الأساسية اللي بيخليك أنت بتقدم البلد عبر التعليم. سيد نائب الرئيس، ده رسالة بتاعنا، الدولة ده محتاج كثير أكثر وأكثر للليدرشيب بتاعكم. نحن دايرين المزيد من الدعم ومزيد من إجراءات التطور في البلد.
The representative of the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, Noala Esquena, says the program targets training 6,000 teachers and improving educational environment for students and pupils in schools across the country.
With this program that is being launched, there are a number of things that will be achieved. It will be training of about 6,000 teachers to improve classroom instructions. Distribution of learning materials is key to this program. And most importantly, let us all go forward, construct the bridge, which is education, and the bridge to be an avenue the kids can realize their dreams.
The launch of the Global Partnership for Education program is a constructive and positive step toward achieving the objectives of the Ministry of General Education and Instruction in reforming the national educational system.
The people of Tumbra County in Western Equatoria State have welcomed a renewed call calls for peace and stability in the region, aiming at creating conducive environment for the delivery of essential services in the area. This comes after a meeting between the Speaker of Parliament, Jema Nunu Kumba, and a delegation from Tumbra consisting of the national parliamentarian Pascal Bandindi and Tumbra Paramount Chief Imbro Bamu Rinzi. Discussion focused on strengthening collaboration to promote grassroots-level social and political harmony, especially as the rainy season continues to impact the area. During the meeting, the delegation conveyed the commitment of local communities to resolving their differences through dialogue. In response, Speaker Nunu reaffirmed the government's commitment to achieving lasting peace and stability through inclusive and community-driven engagement.
Meeting focus on the situation in Tumbra, the security situation. Tumbra have not been living in a peaceful coexistence. So the responsibility falls on us as leaders, as politicians, and the representative of people of Tumbra. Therefore, the meeting has focused very intensively to see the way out. What role, what key activity can we do, can we undertake in order to normalize security situation in Tumbra?
We have seen that so many people have been displaced. The meeting has been fruitful for the purpose that all the people have to be involved to bring in peace. As we are standing here, we really sat and discussed how we can handle the issue of Tumbra. Since it has been tried on grassroots approach, we know that it cannot succeed very well, but with the involvement of the politicians at the National Assembly and those who are in different parties, I'm sure peace will come in Tumbra because we need to include everyone.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mande Simaya Kumba, and the visiting IGAD delegation led by Executive Secretary Dr. Wakene Gabehu have convened to addressing challenges in peace implementation as election period looms. Minister Kumba reaffirmed government's commitment to national peace and stability. For his part, Dr. Wakene stresses the importance of strengthening cooperation among all peace partners in breaking barriers in peace implementation process towards achieving enduring stability. Security forces have apprehended 623 suspected members of notorious gang group locally known as Niggas. The crackdown follows last week's gang rape on a 16-year-old girl at Chirkat area in Juba. Governor Rabi Mujung Emmanuel of Central Equatorial State discloses these during a state security meeting condemning the heinous incident. The State Minister of Local Government and Law Enforcement Agency Leon Abi Brown expresses the government's commitment to continuing the crackdown on criminals as part of broader efforts to stabilizing security across the city, urging parents and guardians to safeguard their children.
And comprehensive discussion of the issues pertaining to the state, we found that a serious issue which have been committed with the criminals, and we condemn it in a very high terms. The raping of 16 years old girl in Gumbo Sirikat, we condemn it as a security committee, we condemn it in a very high terms. As you can see, our security organs are participating, reporting themselves day and night in combating the crimes. The Security Committee highly congratulates you by arresting 623 niggas these 623 neggers are our children who are working out of the law, harming their own brothers and sisters, uncles, fathers.
Now, let's cross over to Unity State capital Binti, where the government stresses the importance of improving the welfare of the state civil servants as a foundation for work sufficiency. Governor Riek Bim Top made these remarks while addressing his officials ahead of the upcoming 14th Independence Day celebration. SSBC's Edela Gaga reports.
Of civil servant, the Unity State government on Wednesday launched the official distribution of uniforms for the state administrative officers at the state secretariat in Bantiu. Speaking during the event, Unity State Governor Riek Bim Top emphasized that the initiative is part of wider efforts to improve the welfare of government staff. He described administrative officers as the heart of the government who play a crucial role in implementing laws and ensuring effective governance across the state.
أنا لما فكرت إنه نشوف لكم ملابس الفكري بتاعي جاي من ريفرنس بتاع الشغل اللي انتوا شغالين فوق هسه ده. لكن تعرف تماما انه الملابس ده ما يهوي شغل. لو جبنا لكم الملابس ما يهوي اخر شغل. ان احنا دايرين نبدا عشان نشتغل بنظام، نشتغل بقانون.
To the door, the State Minister of Local Government and Law Enforcement outlined the vital role the administrative officers play in facilitating daily government function and service delivery at the grassroots level.
You have met the reform. This uniform is a part of the reform. These administrators, they are the ones facilitate the work. Without them, there is no system of the government.
Echoing similar sentiments, Dr. Saman Sharior, Unity State Advisor for Legal Affairs, said administrative officers form the backbone of the state's governance system, adding that their contribution extends beyond Unity State to the national level.
السياسي ممكن يلخبط، السياسي ممكن يخبط، لأنه بيشيله برا يوكي، لكن ده بالدار قاعد بيمسك الإدارة بكل قلبه. عشان كده أنا داير أقول لكم أنتوا رغم الظروف أنتوا عيشتوا في أيام بتاع حرب، رغم المعاناة أنتوا عيشتوا في أيام بتاع حرب، زمن جاء إنه تشتغلوا مع سعادة حاكم، تشتغل ترجعوا النظام، ترجعوا السيستم في محل بتاعه.
سيد الحاكم أنا بقول لك شكرا. سيد الحاكم أنت بالفعل أنت رجل السلام، أنت رجل التنمية. انت ابن هذه البلد لانه انت الحاجات اللي بتعمل فيهم هسه دي الحاجات اللي بيعملوا زول انه وطنيه.
In another development, the Unity State Council of Ministers held an extraordinary meeting this week to plan for the upcoming 14th anniversary of South Sudan's independence, scheduled for 9 July. During the meeting, Governor Bim appointed several committees tasked with organizing and overseeing the state's celebration of this historic national event. Speaking to the media after the meeting, State Minister of Information Katwich Bipal confirming the formation of the organizing committees and outlining the state's commitment to ensuring a meaningful and inclusive celebration.
The state government have formed the committee that will arrange the celebration of 9 July this year. This is the first of its kind after peace signed since 2018. All committee are formed. His Excellency the Governor has already informed the people of Unity State, in particular and South Sudanese in general, to come out on 9th of July 2025 to celebrate the Independence Day of our Republic.
Hitler Gaga Michael, SSBC, Unity State, Bentiu.
Moving to Warabe State capital Kwajok, where hope and anticipation for improved security and services are running high among communities long disadvantaged by persistent conflict triggered by cattle raiding and revenge killings. Governor Bolwek Agoth is in the state to implement the 6-month state of emergency. SSBC's Yol Anthony reports.
In a jubilant and positive atmosphere, thousands of people across Warabe State gathered to welcome their new governor, Ambassador Bolwek Agoth, whose leadership is seen as a turning point toward resolving the intercommunal conflicts that have hindered development in the region. Governor Agoth arrived to begin enforcement of the 6-month state of emergency, alongside civilian disarmament campaign aimed at restoring laws and orders through the state. Traditional leaders and cultural groups lined the route from the state airstrip to the Kwajok State Secretariat in honor of the governor's arrival.
The government interest in peace is motivated by desire to see progress in Warabe State. Peace dividends are enormous. Peace will allow us to invest in economic structures and healthcare as well as in education. It will also promote trade and social cohesion that citizens can move and work freely without fear of being killed by anyone. It is only peace that will allow us to develop our state and our communities. My focus now is restoring peace and security in the coming weeks.
Albino Kolatak, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, and emphasized cooperation as essential to achieving the state peace agenda.
We are coming here to disseminate the declared state of emergency. These two reasons are behind our decision to leave our own work here in Juba, just simply to get a chance to talk to all of you.
Deputy Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Joseph Mobior Malik, encouraged the governor to uphold and impose the laws to deliver justice to the people of Warabe State.
Let us respect law and order. The state of emergency, Bemasulia Kamil, Larufi Sultan, Adole Governor, Wadole Jamarian, Sultan Beno, Mafi long process. Limit, Mumkin it happen.
Former Minister of Petroleum Ezekiel Lulgat Kwok urged the people of Warabe to unite and become a model of peace for other communities across the country.
We must reconcile as Dinka and Noor so that we move this country forward. And we must reconcile together with the Equatorians, with the Cholo, with Bari and Mahdi, and South Sudan must be united under one leadership. And the
Former presidential advisor Tor Deng Mayuen appealed to the public to respect the laws and support President Kiir's peace efforts.
يشوف مشاكل الدولة لأن الدولة بتاعنا بتواجه تحديات كثيرة جدا وما ممكن يجي يشتغل ويكون منشغل كل يوم عشان مشاكل بتاع الأهل.
The presence of senior government officials, chief, women and youth at the rally brought a renewal hope to civilians eager for the restoration of lasting peace across the state. Yol Anthony, SSBC News, Kwajok, Warabe State.
Doctors at Sabah Children's Hospital reported the growing malnutrition among children needing a swift intervention from medical authorities in the country, SSBC's Mary Atongmangwen reports.
A child mother Sunday, Riek, is admitted to Al Sabah Children's Hospital with her child suffering from poor health. The child is diagnosed and found to be anemia. Doctors prescribe drugs for remedying the ill health. Financial constraint, Sunday can hardly afford to buy the drugs for her baby, and pediatric medical supplies are expensive.
Under Musada, Elena, Lohumbak the reside one. Be adwe mun yek der side wanna be hajata kulu mun yek der side wanna be mel bita num mande na mushkila hajada ya gita banna shedid hini aktar min kida lan dawa da muhim ya hajal jibna hina dawa si dawa ya jibanna hini lo mafi mafi haja bijibanna hini.
Betty Achan, a medical doctor at Al Sabah Children's Hospital, says doctors are ethically bound to attend promptly to children admitted in the hospital.
For last month, we had 270 children admitted for the first time. And this is a peak time whereby people don't have food, they don't have money, everyone is here. But the message I will tell the mothers is a jana ayan alago mustashfa. Tama bijibu jana fi akhir zaman ligo jana biga taban wa fi nafsa zaman nta mind haja lita bisado majana. Takanaye no nuswande kulu de nasal jwa juba lakini mabega jibu jana fi mustashfa Bedri. Wakanja mashakil. We are fought, everyone is fought here, they cannot afford, they don't have money. Some children die, the death rate is high. We are asking those who are at the parliament level. Nobody is coming to see what is happening here. Even at Go's level, we have our directors there. They should come and see what is happening. Now it's coming to rain. Where are the mothers going to sit? It is coming to rain. We don't have room for them. Let them come and see what we are doing, and then we share together.
Dr. Piol Maror, a senior doctor at the hospital, says poor feeding exposes children and adults to health hazards. He advises mothers to feed their children well.
Our message to the population actually is very brief. We would love to tell them that there are causes that we can address. One is to have a breastfeeding up to 6 months because it prevents your child from developing malnutrition. Second, use the little thing that you have in your hand to feed your child well. Why I say so? Because there are people that have very small amount of money, but they buy wrong food to the child, and the child end up not being well fed, and the child end up to be what? Malnourished.
Dr. Wilma Ada Staley, director of the statistics department, says the numbers of the children admitted in the hospital keep increasing every month. She displays statistical information for the period January through May 2025.
Trikuta sinusan ya visa kalfijubare. Kulu sugre ita bilgusuno. Most of them women. Yana asa zol biga mage kutu bala fisuno fi bed. Asa na kana ugeni fi bed ya ma bagdara akolo. Ogu kutu bala kul fi soup. Sala jana ayan o ma be kutu bala fogo. O derta sugdi. Buruze kana tala o bala gusuno. Jana fi bed. O jana gija akolo. Maybe sata mana ama satisa.
Statistical records in the hospital for the period are scary. There were 27,452 outpatients, 17,627 inpatients, 9,545 admissions, 318 refer-in cases, 311 deaths. And reporting for SSBC News, Mary Atongmangwen Akech, Al Sabah Children's Hospital.
Now, in a bid to strengthen peace efforts within religious institutions of the country, the Presbyterian Church of South Sudan, in cooperation with the Mission 21, engages more than 40 church members in a peace dialogue training program aimed at promoting peace and stability within respective religious institutions. Here is a report.
In fostering national peace
and long stability, the Presbyterian Church initiated one-day program that brought together 40 church leaders and members from
قاعدين في تدريب عن سلام في وسط بتاع الكنيسة بتاعنا والدولة بتاعنا، لأنه البلد بتاعنا ده بدون سلام ما بنقدر نمشي قدام، ما بكون في تنمية، ما بكون في نهضة هيج مع بعض. عشان كده دور بتاع الكنيسة ده مهم جدا في وقت ده.
السلام ده يبدأ من يوم الليلة معك مع عيالك في البيت مع جارك ويلي يمشوا كله في ولايات، يعني ما في حاجة بحلنا غير سلام. مشاكل ده ما بودينا قدام، نحن ما لو غير موت 24 ساعة نكمل أجيال ل 200، فعلي نقبل السلام ونجي نقعد مع بعض ومحبة يكون في وسط بتاعنا عشان احنا نقدم دولة بتاعنا.
The program renews hope for collective responsibilities in fostering peace and stability across South Sudan. Reporting for SSBC News, Ogot Keun.
That's it from me and the team. I am Mathiang Joseph and thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for more programs coming up.